Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a political story from the UK that reveals something very surprising about public opinion. A petition was launched in April 2025 to oppose increased military spending by the British government. You might think this would gain momentum, given the ongoing debates around war, diplomacy and peace, but instead, it's barely made a ripple. After more than 2 months, it has just 611 signatures. So in today's video, let's explore, what is this petition about? Why has it failed to gain support? And what does this say about the UK's defence strategy and global politics? Let's begin with the basics. The petition was launched on April 3, 2025, and it's hosted on the UK government's official petition website. The main goal, to stop the government from raising defence spending to 2.5% of GDP. The petition argues that doing so would actually increase international tensions and make it more likely that the UK would get involved in more wars. In short, the petition calls for a peace-based foreign policy, focusing on diplomacy, disarmament and neutrality. It says more weapons and warplanes won't make the world safer. Instead, we should reduce militarization. But now comes the real twist. Despite being live for over 2 months, the petition has only gathered 611 signatures as of June 8, 2025. That's an extremely low number, especially when you consider that just 10,000 signatures are needed for the government to respond formally, and 100,000 signatures are needed to trigger a parliamentary debate. At its current pace, this petition is expected to reach around 1,300 signatures by the time it expires in October 2025. In fact, over the last 24 hours, it only received 31 signatures. That's less than 1 signature per hour. So why is this happening? Why aren't people supporting it? The timing gives us some clues. This petition comes just days after the UK's Strategic Defence Review was published on June 2nd. In that review, the government committed to increasing defence spending to 2.5% of GDP by 2030, possibly even earlier. That increase would fund the construction of new nuclear submarines, thousands of long-range missiles, expansion of cyber warfare capabilities, new munition factories, and other military programmes. The government justifies this by pointing to rising threats from Russia, instability in the Middle East, and tensions in the Indo-Pacific, especially with China. In short, the world is becoming more dangerous and the UK wants to be ready. Now, here's what's really interesting. This petition's lack of support actually tells us something very important about current public opinion. Despite a small number of people pushing for disarmament and neutrality, the majority of the British public seems to support stronger defence measures. Many see investment in the military not as a provocation, but as a necessary precaution. When you're seeing war in Ukraine, attacks on shipping routes in the Red Sea and expanding cyber threats, it's understandable that people are prioritising security over idealism. The petition's message simply isn't striking a chord right now. And this isn't happening in isolation. Across Europe, NATO countries are increasing their defence budgets. Germany, Poland, the Baltic states, they're all moving fast to modernise their militaries. Even traditionally, neutral countries like Sweden and Finland are now part of NATO. In this context, the UK spending more on defence is part of a broader shift, one where deterrence is seen as the key to peace. If you're not strong, you're vulnerable. That's the logic many governments are operating under now, and from a public sentiment point of view, it seems most people agree with that reasoning. Now, to be clear, just because a petition fails doesn't mean the issue isn't important. The people behind this petition raise valid concerns about militarism, peace-building and foreign entanglements, but in terms of real-world influence, this petition shows how disconnected fringe opinion can be from mainstream sentiment. It doesn't have momentum, media traction, or political attention, and unless something drastic changes, it's unlikely to even meet the minimum signature threshold to get a response from the government. So, in summary, the UK government plans to increase defence spending to 2.5% of GDP in response to rising global threats. A petition was launched to stop this policy, but it's gained almost no support, just 611 signatures in over 2 months. Public opinion appears to strongly favour preparedness and military investment rather than pacifist policies right now. Let me know in the comments. Do you think stronger defence spending is justified? Or should countries shift toward peace-based foreign policy instead? As always, stay curious and stay informed. I'll see you in the next video.